So here we have the 6 new designs that I'm adding to my postcard collection. And here is how I made them. So I have my first art market this year next weekend. And I'm really excited because it's been a while. For this market, I will be restocking some of my cards and posters, and I decided it's time to make some new cards as well. I haven't made anything new this year yet because I was too busy working on my website, but now that that's done, I can finally do something fun again. So let's go! So to start this card making adventure, I went to my product wish list to see which products I wanted to make this time around, and then started brainstorming on the ideas. One of the series of postcards I wanted to make were related to the seasons. I've already made those cards in fact, but I didn't like how they turned out, so I never printed them, and now I'm giving them a second try. I also recently got myself one of those cool Prismacolor Cover Erase drawing pencils that all the illustrators online are raving about, and let me tell you, they break like all of the time. They're awful. Well, maybe not awful, but they're not as amazing as I thought they would be. Anyway, so I made a list of all of the things that I'm thinking of that relate to the different seasons. When living in Denmark, of course, because that's the kind of postcards I'm making. And then I was struck with an idea for a card that I wasn't planning to make, but I thought the idea was too good to pass on, so I started immediately sketching that card. It's about the struggles of finding housing in Copenhagen, and there is a lot of personal frustration I channeled in this card. And I'm sure many out there who have tried living in Copenhagen will relate to it. After I sketched that, I sketched a whole bunch of other things for the other cards I were making. And because pencil drawings are pretty messy, I like to outline them with a pen so that they scan better and so that my sketchbook doesn't become a complete mess of smudged pencil marks. With that done and the weather outside being pretty nice, I decided that I should go out and take a walk in the forest, which I should be doing a lot more often than I do, and you should probably too. It was very nice, except for the stress caused by random joggers and cyclists seeing me film myself walk into the fields, because I'm sure that looks really weird. Why, hello there, random biker. We were just talking about you. I'm so glad that it's finally spring again and that we can go outside again and see all the new growth and to see the sun again. For me, being in nature is the biggest fuel to the creative process, even if sometimes it's hard to get myself out of the house. And then it was time to head back, but first I had to climb to the top of this little hill and grab my camera because it was sitting there in a tree for some reason. Curious. Back to the drawing board or the sketchbook, which I'm going to scan so I can digitize the sketches that I made. I drop these sketches in Illustrator and start tracing them with the pen tool. Once the outlines are done, I color the sketch. Put some finishing touches, a little bit of texture. And there we have one element done, and there are many more to go. And once all of these elements were done, I will drop them on the cards and arrange them in a nice layout. Put some text to reflect my idea. This part of the process is when I also start to procrastinate, because I dread sending my work to print, because when it's in print, it's done. You can't fix any mistakes anymore. Well, until the next print, so it's not really that deep. But I stress about it anyway. For the last hours, well, let's be honest, for the last day of the project, all I do is resize, move things around, do tiny little adjustments, change low colors here and there, things that no one will ever notice, but I know that I did them, and I'm usually pretty happy that I fixed all the tiny little bugs, if you will. And then once I decide that all these adjustments are enough, I do a test print so that I can have a little mock-up version of the final product. Since I know that my colors are working, I use this palette every time. It's kind of the palette of this whole project or series or whatever. I printed in black and white to save up my ink, which I actually need to buy new ink for my printer, because yeah, it's starting to die. But anyway, so once I have things in print, I will check for random spelling mistakes and little things that maybe I overlooked staring at the screen, because sometimes you can notice new things once they're printed. You can see how the layout looks, set up the final printing files and send them to your printer. Good job! You're done now. And now that the work is sent to the printer and I have nothing left to do, I start to panic, of course, because I start imagining that I made some horrible mistake that I won't be able to fix until the next reprint, and it's going to cost me a lot of money. So to calm my nerves, I started watering my plants, because I forgot to water them for a while because I was worried about something else. And next thing you know, I end up washing the windows, because they haven't been washed for 2 years, because the housing company used to wash them, but that was 2 housing companies ago, and now nobody really cares, because I live in an overpriced shithole that nobody cares to maintain, but they still raise the rent every year. Wait, what am I talking about? And then next thing you know, it's Thursday, or the day the cards are supposed to be ready. So I bike to the printing place, grab the cards real quick, and rush home to unpack them. We have some postcards and also some posters. The posters are mainly reprint of old ones that got sold out, which is why I haven't showed you any making of posters. I'm pretty happy with how they turned out. I'm excited to have new cards, and now I'm going to start adding them to the shop. So that was that. Hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed it and you want to check the postcards more closely, follow the link in the description to visit my shop, and hope to see you next time.